Hi all. So I'm just recording a non-fast forwarded look at creating 6-off motion controls from scratch and the workflow. And you can see this video is about 7 minutes long, and we export the config at the end. So I've got a completely blank slate starting with Aliens Fireteam. So we start off in third person. I'm just upping my resolution. This is for a third person game, so some of the steps are potentially not needed in this, but say for example you have a first person game, but the general concepts are in the same. So first turn on show advanced options, and then here in this section here you've got the U object hook. It's good to start with your input as freed off right hand or left hand, depends on if you're going to attach left or right, but I'm going to attach right here. Also turn on room scale movement for now because we're going to use that later. And then, yeah, we go down to the U object hook. So we have the main, which is where we're going to do our work. Config, which does the smoothing. But yeah, we're going to start here. So recent objects, just everything recently loaded. Common objects, which is the most important. And objects by class, which we can use a text search for specific things. Now, acknowledge pawn is the player character. So in this case, it's our marine here. And you instantly always get attached to camera and attached camera relative. We'll do the relative one, and we'll just lower it a little bit. That's the Z box, so we're just around the eyes, and it's good to keep the character mesh there just so you can see where your head should probably be. Now the first element is components, and that's everything that makes up that player character. It's alphabetical, and we want to look for skeletal meshes, and in this game there's a head and a character mesh. So I'm going to turn that invisible and then save the visibility state. And now the character mesh is the entire body apart from the gun. And I'm going to save the visibility state there as well. So you can see here everything is gone. So we're going to close that. Now there's properties of the player pawn. And this is where you really want to look for the 6-off motion controls. Also alphabetical. Now, generally, if there isn't an easy property, you want to go to children, and you can see there the rifle, the shotgun, and pistol. So that's kind of your last resort if you can't find what we're going to find next. So if you keep scrolling down, this game has a current gun property, and this is kind of the thing you want to find in most games. Some games it will be like equipped weapon, current equipment, something like that. Some property that controls what gun you've got in your hand. Because what we can do here is the components of the current gun. You can also see there's properties of it. There's things in here like the recoil level, aiming sensitivity, stuff like that. But we're interested in the mesh. So we go up to the components of the current gun. And we see here, there's not that many. There's core gun mesh. And here we can attach to the right hand or the left hand. So we're going to attach it to the right. And we're going to adjust it. Now, this game doesn't have the overlapper tool to help you. So this one is a harder example. So I thought I'd start with a harder example. You have to click on permanent change and then save it. And just see what the shooting is like. So just kind of point with your arm outstretched and look down the barrel of the gun and see how off-center the projectiles are. It's good to do against a wall. So you can see here they're quite high up. So when I go back in to adjust them, I will move my hand slightly down from where that gun is. So imagine my hand reaching out and touching the gun, and I'm just moving my hand and tipping it down slightly. And I'm going to adjust it again. Just keep doing it. So that's slightly better. Now the crosshair isn't exactly where the projectiles come, but you want to see where the bullet stream goes. So there, I'm a little bit closer. I'm doing it in very small amounts because I don't want to overshoot. So very close there. That looks pretty good. Just a little bit further. Now that is pretty good. Now, obviously, some people will be able to get picture-perfect ones of these, and this was, as you see, just a few seconds of trial and error. So we save our state there, but because it's a current gun property, all the adjustments automatically go over to all the guns that you currently have equipped. So for some games like Atomic Heart, sadly I've not found a property like this, and I've had to do every single weapon I've picked up in the children property. But here, every single gun has the attachment. Now you can see as I move my gun close to me, I kind of clip through it, and we have an option for that in the settings. Let me just run over here. So yeah, runtime, Unreal, and then you can see near clip plane. Turn that on, and then it defaults to the closest position. The only downside for that is you see that shotgun on our back, that is now a lot more visible. So you can change the value. So our gun is still in view, but that's kind of getting clipped out on our back. So still good. And now that's a lot less noticeable. And it also depends where you stand as well. So that's looking pretty good. Just a little bit more adjustment. That's pretty much gone. It does depend on the kind of gun you've got on your back. The shotgun's quite long. But if you had like the SMG as a secondary, it's not too bad. Turn enabled at startup on in the config, because we're going to export this now. I'm lowering my resolution a bit, because someone, when they load it up, they don't want a big resolution. Make sure all the things are saved, like your attachments. Use pawn control rotation. So if you shake your control like this, and if you see your kind of body move or the world move, ticking that will prevent that from happening. So if you've got a problem where you move, then that's that. In Fireteam's Elite multiplayer support, if you're the host of the game, tick that, and just keep that ticked for a multiplayer game like this. What it will do is when you are the host, it won't break the input. Yeah, that's a bit obscure, but just for this game. So what we'll do now is we'll export this config and we'll upload it to my Google Drive of profiles. So yeah, if you open the UEVR menu now, and once the game has to be running, and click export config, and all your configs will be put into a folder called exported configs, and these are the zip files that people import so they can be uploaded. So I hope that's helped.